Uh, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. I am not gonna lie, I've been really busy, and my friend told me to go check my views on my last two YouTube videos on my reactions, and I got 1,000 views on each one of them, and I just want to say thank you. Just from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you. They're all positive comments too, so I'm really happy about that. I do want to. Dude, there's one person that commented, and I low key want to. I'm gonna shout him out low key, because he like, I love the comment. He really like, it's Kelly Palmer 7052. Like low key, I take notice. You know, it's been 2 weeks, and I didn't really notice it at first, and I low key feel stupid for not noticing it, but yeah, he said, I hope your channel takes off. I liked and subscribed, which is a bless. Thank you for doing that, man. And if you haven't already, I mean, you should just scroll down and like and subscribe. You know what I mean? Like, it helps out a brother. You know what I mean? But he said he liked my video. He felt like he was watching with a friend and paused at the same points and brought up the same questions as me. But yeah, I love the support. I thank y'all all for the bottom of my heart for the support. I'm still shaking up about it, and I just decided, I was like, fuck sleep. Let's make another video. You know what I mean? So we're gonna be watching. Oop, back it up. So today we're gonna be watching Alligators in the Sewers, not just an urban legend. Low key sounds heavy. You know, I've always heard alligators are in the sewer, and I thought it was just a myth. You know, like in New York and stuff. So we're gonna watch it, see what's going to happen. You know, it's 14 minutes long, so the video should be about 16 minutes. Try not to pause too much, but I'm gonna pause when I need to. When I have a question, I'm gonna pause. Okay, let's go. Let's get going.
New York City,
See, New York. I was right off the bat.
1935. Teddy May, the superintendent of the sewer system, had some of his inspectors coming to him and telling him something he didn't believe. They were telling him that there were alligators in the sewer systems below New York. Teddy thought the inspectors must have been smuggling alcohol. He even said, quote, "Them guys been drinking in there." But when he couldn't find any evidence that his sewer walkers were smuggling in whiskey, and the reports kept coming, he decided to check for himself. He climbed down the ladder into the darkness and shone his flashlight over the murky water, and reptilian eyes shone back. It is a story that has been around for close to a century, if not longer.
Wait. I thought alligators lived in like Louisiana and Florida. How'd they get up into New York? Actually, better yet, let's Google it. Where do American alligators live? Where do American alligators lived? Let's go. Let's check this out. We got a map. Okay, so alligators are found. Oh, smack. American alligators are found in the southeastern. That's not southeastern. New York is not southeastern. North Carolina and central Texas. Swamps, marshes. Yeah, that's nothing like New York. So how'd they get up to New York? Did it like escape from a zoo? I'm sure it'll tell us, but like, I'm low-key curious.
The legends of alligators living in sewer systems underneath cities. Generally, it seems these stories come from the US, and specifically New York City. But other parts of the world, such as Paris, have a few similar legends about these animals living below them. It has become a semi-popular legend in movies, books, TV shows, and games, which may have contributed to the stories being exaggerated, but while possibly exaggerated, aren't completely false. But let's start with the area where a lot of the accounts come from, New York City. The concrete jungle isn't exactly a place you'd imagine large reptiles could survive out in the open. It can get a bit cold, and it's also a fair distance outside the range of an alligator. To be honest, it's not easy to say with 100% certainty what the exact range of the American alligator is, but according to the American Wildlife Federation, the furthest north they go is North Carolina.
See, I was just wondering that.
To American Fish and Wildlife, quote, northeastern North Carolina is about the northernmost region where alligators live and breed. But I think most of us already thought the gators didn't get there on their own. So the question would be, if they are there, who put them there.
Yeah.
The New York City sewer gator stories tend to be a mix of some true facts combined with some urban legends. And the legend usually starts off with some variation of the story of a child receiving an alligator as a pet, a small baby alligator, just a
Who
few
the
inches
fuck?
long.
Wait, pause. Who the fuck would give their baby an alligator as a pet? Just real quick question. Who in the right mind, they know how big that thing gets. We all know how big an alligator gets. Who in their right mind is going to, they know it's going to get big. So why would you get, that's cap.
Seem fine
It's
at first, but then the alligator continues to grow and gets too large, and then the parents decide to flush the reptile down the toilet.
I don't think a baby alligator. Okay, first off, I don't think a baby alligator can fit down the toilet. Maybe a fish, not that. I'm gonna be so for real with you. I do not think an alligator can go down a toilet. I don't. I know snakes can go up toilets and down toilets, but they're they're slender. They can go down it. That's full, like, their scales are like plated metal. Like that's armor. There's no way that's going down the toilet.
The flushing it down the toilet part, I don't understand.
Yeah, see?
Even a small baby seems like it could easily get clogged in the pipes.
I'm saying.
And the story usually goes when it got too big. How big? I don't know. But would people look at a pet and think, it's too big, the easiest thing to do now is flush it? Would be an awkward call to the plumber. However, the pet part, it's true that people could purchase alligators as pets.
Yeah, low key, that is true. People do purchase alligators. I was at a reptile show not too long ago. I saw an alligator. Yeah, it was $4,000.
Visiting regions further south and buying a baby
alligator.
gator from a farm and bringing it home. But you didn't even have to travel. Baby gators were shipped around the country. If you've seen my video on the gator farm from 1907, there's even a photo of women sorting baby alligators into boxes, apparently to get posted up.
Is that a baby alligator? Wait, whoa. Maybe that can fit down the toilet. Nah. If it's that, well, it says when it gets big enough, like too big, maybe. But I don't think they would sell them that young, That's like right out the egg. And I ain't gonna lie, stuff will be growing quick. I mean, I'm being for real. I bet those things grow big in no time, Because they do live in the marsh,
Alligators
so they gotta, like,
into
protect
boxes,
themselves.
apparently to get posted off. Even today, you can still order a baby alligator online and have it shipped to you in the US, though laws vary according to state, and New York has pretty strict laws. Article 161 under the section Wild and Other Prohibited Animals, the list states, quote, all members of order Crocodilia, including but not limited to alligator, caiman, and crocodile. The law even bans the ownership of tarantulas for some reason. But just because something is illegal doesn't mean people won't do it. Also, with a permit for something like a zoo, people could have alligators. But even in the past, while laws were more lax and people had more alligators, how did they
I would never let my child next to that alligator. You're just asking for it to die. I'm
end
being
up
for real
in
right
sewers? Well, probably not from toilets, but perhaps other ways. According to the 1959 book, The World Beneath the City by Robert Daly, the author suspects that alligators were thrown down a manhole while the child wasn't watching. The World Beneath is actually the same book that first published a story about Superintendent Teddy May climbing down and seeing all the alligators in the sewer. Let's go back to that story, actually. What exactly did he see?
Wait. How do they get their food? What will they be eating? They gotta eat like a ton of... Wait, how much food does an alligator have to eat a day? How... I spelled alligator wrong. 50 pounds. Dude, no way you can find 50 pounds of what the fish for each one of those alligators in that sewer. No way. There's no way that many people in New York are flushing down their fish. There's no way.
Well, in chapter 17, titled Alligators in the Sewers, it states, his own flashlight had spotted alligators whose length on the average was about 2 feet, and the colony appeared to have settled under the very streets of the busiest city in the world. What happened with this colony? Well, they got rid of them. Shot some, poisoned others, and killed them in other ways. But here's the midpoint twist in the video. Is this a true story? Well, I would say it's probably at least somewhat true. though maybe not entirely. While Teddy does seem to have worked in the sewer systems, there seems to be speculation over whether or not he was a superintendent. And the author of The World Beneath the City seemed a little skeptical about some things Teddy told him. In an interview Daly gave to the New York Times, he said he still believes that Mr. May was telling the truth, even if the numbers could have been exaggerated. And besides, he said, quote, "It made a terrific story. How could you turn it down?" I think the
That's
size
news
of
for
2
you,
feet
though.
in
Let's be
length
for
is
real.
perfectly reasonable. That part of the story doesn't sound exaggerated. But the colony part, I'm not so sure. This book, and specifically this chapter, is often credited in making the legend. But there are even earlier accounts than this one. There was another incident, also around 1935, involving a single but substantially bigger gator. According to the New York Times, in 1935, a few boys were shoveling snow into an open manhole in Harlem in early February. It was near dusk, and as they were shoveling the snow, they heard something from the manhole below, and looking down, they saw an animal, quote, churning in the icy water. How it was surviving in the cold, I don't know, but one of the boys, a 16-year-old,
Well, I
Salvatore,
know that, like, wait, some reptiles can, like, completely, like, shut down their body, right? Because, no, they're cold-blooded. No, they do shut down their body. Like, they slow down their heart and everything, right? Am I tripping? That's how they survive, right?
Condalucci decided to get the gator out of the sewer. He tied a slip knot and threw it down to catch the gator. Eventually, he was able to get the noose around its neck and pull it up to the street. The accounts say that it was very weak, but it apparently tried to
Fucking obviously, it's a fucking swamp animal. It's in fucking freezing cold water.
snap
Be honest.
at a few of the boys, who decided to beat the animal to death with the
Hmm.
snow shovels. But by the sounds of it, it seemed like this alligator was nearly dead anyway. Not surprising considering the cold water. This alligator was bigger than the ones Teddy saw, at about 8 feet or 2.4 meters long.
There's no fucking way. Okay, let's be for real right now. You know how heavy alligators are? There's no goddamn way. That little boy pulled that alligator by himself. Hey, I'm just gonna keep it real with you. I'm gonna keep it real with you. There's no way. Hey Siri, how heavy is an alligator?
The weight of an adult alligator can vary between 300 to 1,000 pounds.
That man better be a strongman. He better be a strongman. If he is, dude, there's no way. I'm saying that right now.
Weighed
There's no,
about
that's a whole lot.
125
He's capping.
pounds or 57-ish kilos. Now, this might be an estimate rather than a measurement, but it's still well within the size range that an alligator could achieve, and well below the max. I guess his friends must have helped him pull it out. Police were brought to the scene, and the animal was apparently displayed in a local shop for a time before being tossed into a dump. There were a few theories about how the gator got there. The officers thought maybe it had come up on a steamer from the Everglades. Mr. Condalucci
fuck
thought
do you
it
mean?
was more likely that
I
it
think,
was a
I
pet
think a
alligator.
fucking 8-foot alligator would have been seen on a steam. Like look at that thing. If there's a leech, an alligator sitting on the side, you think you would notice it? Let's be for real right now.
Alligator
All right.
released into,
That's all I need to
well,
say.
not exactly the wild, but you know. We can go back even further, all the way back to 1907, when a worker in Kearney, New Jersey, was bitten by a small alligator while he cleaned out a sewer. In 1932, a group of boys brought a dead gator to a group of police, claiming not only that they found it in the Bronx River, but that the river itself was swarming with live alligators. The police force mobilized, combing through the river with nets and calves' livers as bait. However, when the search didn't seem to yield any more alligators, the
Yeah, they baited you. they baited you. That was their senior prank.
police
They
called it
baited you.
off and concluded the boys had found an escaped pet. And that's sort of how most of these cases go. Usually, but not always, a lone gator, thought to be a pet or zoo escapee, and they are often in bad health too. According to the New York Herald in 1937, a barge captain pulled a 4-foot 8-inch or 1.4 meter alligator out of the East River, and the animal was,
I believe
quote,
that.
clearly exhausted
If it's a full-grown man pulling up a 4-foot alligator, I believe that.
and seemed in no humor to fight. Also, just a week later, another 2-foot or 0.6 meter alligator crawled out of a trash can at a subway platform before being captured by a police officer. The thing is that while there certainly have been alligators found in New York City and some nearby areas, The idea that a population of them is living and thriving in the sewers doesn't seem to have much ground to stand on. In a 1982 interview, New York City sewer chief John T. Flaherty was asked about gators, and he said he had sightings of, quote, rats, insects, stray fish, dead bodies, and even street gang clubhouses, but no gators.
Exactly. See? I believe all that stuff. It's New York. Rats, 100%. Whatever else he said, 100%. And I heard gangs, 1935. That's fucking, that's like, that's like the mafia's prom time. Yeah, most definitely. I believe it. But gators, I don't know. Like, low-key, I don't believe it. I believe there's maybe, but winter comes around, they're all dead.
He said he also constantly
No, there's no way you found an albino.
got letters from people asking about albino alligators.
Yeah. There's no way you found an albino alligator in there.
According to an interview in the Times in
Oh my God! If this man really says someone found it, I'm gonna lose
2009,
it.
Stephen Lawitz, who was acting commissioner of the Department of Environmental Protection, which oversees the sewers, said that the legend lives on, but it's not true to our knowledge.
Exactly.
We have had no alligator sightings, dead or alive, except on our t-shirts.
Yep.
And this sort of makes sense. Like, a sewer doesn't seem like a particularly good environment for a big reptile to live in.
No,
I mean,
it does not.
sewers aren't exactly known for being clean waterways. And then there is the cold. To be fair, compared to other crocodilians, American alligators seem reasonably cold tolerant and are found farther north than any of their relatives. In the southern US, they survive winter by going into brumation.
See, I told you. I said it, people. I said it. I said that they can stop their heart, and they can look dead, but they're not dead.
Which is basically like a kind of reptile hibernation,
See, I told you. I ain't stupid.
where they slow their
I went to high school.
metabolism and stay in the water. You might have seen a few
Still am
viral
in high
news clips of
school.
them poking their snouts out of the ice to breathe. But even in the south, they
I already
rely
knew
on
that was
relatively
true.
stable
I knew that.
temperatures and don't deal with the kinds of brutal freezes New York gets. In the
Exactly.
sewers, they wouldn't have access to the deep, slow-moving water to brumate properly, and they wouldn't be able to bask in the sun, which they need to regulate their body temperatures and digest food. Without
Exactly.
warmth, their bodies would shut down and they'd eventually starve. Speaking of food, there is not much to eat other
I brought that up already. Dude, I should be making this video. I should be doing the research and making the video.
than rats and trash, and if they were able to survive all that and somehow breed and somehow keep their nests insulated so that the eggs could hatch to keep a population going, regular sewer maintenance should mean that somebody would have found them. Even if the Teddy story is 100% true, I would suspect that maybe
A
a
sewer's that big? Is a sewer that big?
pet shop or something
I
dumped a
don't
bunch
know.
of gators at once, rather than a breeding population somehow survived there for generations. And all of them were apparently taken out too. I want to look at some other places outside of the US, but beforehand I will mention quickly that in Florida, alligators in sewers is certainly more common. But
I
who's
believe
surprised by
that. See, I believe alligators and sewers in Florida are a lot more common. I mean, like, that's their land, you know? Like, we came there. They were already there, you know what I mean? So I believe that. But the New York stuff is, I don't know. Like he just said, I don't think they can keep a population like that. They must be some fucked up alligators with that inbred stuff, but nah, I don't believe it.
that?
I don't.
Just from hurricanes and flooding, I would have guessed they'd end up in different sewer systems,
Yeah, I
since
believe
they already
that.
live in Florida anyway. But research published in the Urban Naturalist in 2024 brought this story to more of a spotlight. Now, these were more storm drains built to aid with excess water from, well, a storm, and they are separated from the regular sewage system, though they're still sometimes called sewers or storm sewers. But anyway, in the paper it explains how the team deployed 39 trail cameras and 33 storm water drains, and among many other animals, they got 50 sightings of alligators. Not really living in the drains, but more using them to travel between different bodies of water, like little highways.
Because they're not
Interesting,
stupid, of course
but
they're gonna
again,
use that.
not super surprising. But let's look at one more story from Paris in the 1980s, specifically March 1984. Where firefighters received a call that a dark, scaly shape had been spotted multiple times near Pont Neuf, which is the oldest standing bridge on the Seine. Anyway, according to C News France, The firefighters did a bit of an investigation around the bridge and the banks of the Seine, but they didn't find anything there, so they decided to search the sewer. Now, they didn't find an alligator. Instead, they found a Nile crocodile.
A Nile crocodile? How the fuck? That's gonna be another video. I'm gonna call it right now. He's gonna make another video on it.
Nile crocodiles can
I lied. I lied.
get pretty big, but this crocodile, which turned out to be female, was
A
under
Nile
a meter
crocodile is
long.
from the Nile. Okay. I don't think an African crocodile. My fault. An African crocodile from the Nile. No, I don't know.
So roughly 3
Oh, it's in
feet.
Paris. Ooh, maybe.
She was captured and brought to a veterinarian who said she was about 2 years old and in surprisingly good health, and apparently had been living mostly off of rats. She was then transferred to an aquarium where her enclosure was designed to look like a sewer.
Oh shit,
She
it's
grew
real.
to about 3 meters, a little under 10 feet, and weighed about 200 kilos, or approximately 440 pounds. She lived there until her death in 2022. The article
Oh shit, she died like 3 years ago. Yeah, it's 25 now. I gotta remember that.
doesn't say how she got to Paris, but I imagine people were involved. The thing about these accounts is that, while they're fascinating, they would be even more interesting if there really were a population of massive Nile crocodiles lurking beneath the streets of Paris. Or a
Okay, why did I say Nile? We were just talking about American alligators, and now you switch it to Nile.
colony of mutant alligators in New York sewers. But in reality, they're more like one-off incidents that pop up throughout history. I'm sure we'll see more reports of odd crocodilians showing up outside of their native range in the future, but populations thriving and surviving, I'm not so sure about that. But as Robert Daly once said, it certainly is a terrific story. Thank you to my patrons and members, and thank you for watching.
Thank y'all for watching. See, I'm gonna make videos every day now. That's a fact. But anyways, if you made it this far, thank you so much for the support. That video was interesting. I liked it. It kind of got my gears turning, if you know what I mean. I'm hilarious. I'm gonna go stream tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. If y'all can check in, check in. If y'all can't, then y'all can't. It's okay. We all got things to do. We're all human. We all got lives. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on another one. See ya.